Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'm going to start it off in Revelation chapter 9, Salakia, verse 12. One woe or destruction is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. So this is speaking of World War I, World War II, which are both past, and World War III, which, hey, over these last couple of days, you can clearly see World War III is manifesting right before our very eyes. And, earlier this week, the Biden administration authorized Ukraine to use long-range missiles to strike targets inside Russia. And, not just the U.S., but countries like Britain and France as well. And like I just said, the third woe approaches quickly. And as we get closer to the end of this thing, the end of this age of the heathens ruling, and these prophecies are going to become that much more apparent even to the average person out here, because I've been paying attention to, different YouTube channels out there and, just daily talk. And people, are paying attention to this recent strike, on Russia by Ukraine. And a lot of people are nervous out here because instinctively they know what it's going to lead to. World War III. And with a knowledge of biblical prophecy, hey, without a shadow of a doubt, you know what the outcome of all these different actions are going to be. But now I'm going to go into a few articles, hey, just showing the manifestation of this third woe. And the first article is on businessinsider.com titled, First Attackums, Now Storm Shadows, Long-Range Western Missiles Are Raining Down on Russia for the first time. Ukraine is finally using its powerful long-range Western missiles to strike targets inside Russia after waiting over a year for permission. On Wednesday, Ukraine fired British-made Storm Shadow cruise missiles at targets inside Russia for the first time, according to several media outlets and local footage. The UK Defense Ministry and Kiev did not immediately comment on the reported developments. Ukraine fired a volley of at least 10 Storm Shadow missiles into Russia, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing Ukrainian and Western officials. The Storm Shadow strikes come a day after Ukraine first fired U.S.-made tactical ballistic missiles known as ATACMS at a military facility in Russia's western Bryansk region. Kiev acknowledged the strike but did not say what weapons were used. And now I'm going to jump down to this paragraph. The removal of the restrictions on weapons usage follows the introduction of North Korean troops in the war, a development that NATO has called a significant escalation and comes at a critical moment in the grinding conflict, which just passed the 1,000-day mark. The Storm Shadow is made by the European multinational corporation MBDA, and those ATACMS missiles are made by Lockheed Martin, a U.S. company. The missile has low observable features, can carry nearly 1,000-pound warhead, and fly at low altitudes to avoid detection. Like Britain, France has also provided Ukraine with its version of the weapon known as the Scalp EG. So these Western nations are escalating against Russia And, Russia is escalating against them as well. Which brings me to my next article on Reuters.com. Putin issues warning to United States because they know that's the main ringleader with new nuclear doctrine. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday lowered the threshold for a nuclear strike in response to a broader range of conventional attacks, and Moscow said Ukraine has struck deep inside Russia with U.S.-made ATACMS missiles. And that's going to be the ultimate outcome of World War III, is nuclear missiles being shot to the ends of the earth. Putin approved the change days after two U.S. officials and a source familiar with the decision said on Sunday that U.S. President Joe Biden's administration allowed Ukraine to use U.S.-made weapons to strike deep into Russia. Russia had been warning the West for months that if Washington allowed Ukraine to fire U.S., British, and French missiles deep into Russia, Moscow would consider those NATO members to be directly involved in the war in Ukraine. The updated Russian nuclear doctrine establishing a framework for conditions under which Putin could order a strike from the world's biggest nuclear arsenal was approved by him on Tuesday, according to a published decree. Analysts said the biggest change was that Russia could consider a nuclear strike in response to a conventional strike on Russia or its ally Belarus that created a critical threat to their sovereignty and or their territory. So hey, you're seeing these nations lower their threshold to use their nuclear weapons and building back up their nuclear arsenals. And, Donald Trump won the presidential selections. And during his first term, he was responsible for taking the U.S. out of a lot of those Cold War nuclear weapons treaties, which kept nations from, building more missiles or using particular type of missiles. And this is all through the will of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to finally bring about the end of things, because these are the times we're living in. But real quick, I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. Ancient warfare before Esau really got into power, where you had swords and shields and men screaming at each other as they charged into each other. But, especially with Esau coming into, his final rulership, beginning with the Renaissance all the way up until today, what have you seen? The creation of these advanced weapons, a lot of these long-range missiles, which the ultimate one is that nuclear weapon. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this great battle to come, the third woe, World War III, is going to be with burning and fuel of fire, those nuclear missiles. Let me X some of these out. Now I'm going to go to my next article on IrishStar.com titled, Nuclear War Could Be Imminent as Russia Warns of Big Jump Towards World War III, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Vladimir Putin's ally, Sergei Markov, has warned that the decision to allow Ukraine to use Western long-range missiles could see a nuclear conflict started by the West before the end of the year. But as we're going to get later, this nuclear destruction will not come about until one more major prophecy takes place. So, unless it takes place before then, hey, a lot of you cash-strapped Americans can max out your credit cards to get your Christmas presents for the holidays. But Pro-Putin spokesperson Sergei Markov has issued a chilling warning of World War III by Christmas for the U.S. He claims that Western allies, including Britain and France, have taken a big jump towards nuclear conflict by allowing Ukraine to fire Western long-range missiles into Kremlin territory. Markov, often seen as a Putin mouthpiece, suggested in an interview on BBC Radio 4's The World at One that Britons could be spending Christmas in shelters due to Joe Biden's shocking move. Slovakia. This sentiment was echoed by Donald Trump Jr., son of President-elect Donald Trump, who insinuated that those approving Ukraine's use of the missiles were keen to make sure they got World War III going before my father has a chance to create peace and save lives. And it doesn't matter whether it was Joe Biden being president or Donald Trump being president, which, with a lot of the moves Donald Trump is making before his inauguration, hey, he's looking like he's going to fulfill these major prophecies. Because on the one hand, he's a major ally of the state of Israel, which plays into the battle in the valley of Jehoshaphat in Joel chapter 3. And, the least of the flock shall draw them out in Jeremiah 49 verse 20, because those Amalekite Edomites over in the Holy Land, posing as the children of Israel, are going to do something to cause a war against Iran, which is going to drag in the U.S. and NATO in on their side, and on the side of Iran, Russia and China. And who is in Donald Trump's cabinet for the Department of Government Expenditures? Elon Musk, who is responsible for Neuralink, which is that C-hip implant in your forehead, which goes into what? The MARKOFTHEBEAST in Revelation 13 verses 16 to 18. And Donald Trump, I believe he just appointed, Dr. Oz, that celebrity doctor, to be the head of Medicare. And, a couple of years ago on his show, he was talking about how C-hip implants, RFID and NFC, were going to be the thing of the future to, do everything in your life. Have your personal documents on it, your health records, etc., etc. So Trump, hey, he's looking like that man that may be the last, Abaratazah he is, the last president of America. That's it with this article. Now I'm going to go to my next article on Newsweek.com. Putin ally responds to Biden's Ukraine missile plan. This is already World War III. President Biden's permission for Ukraine to use American-made missiles for strikes on Russia has triggered a global conflict, a close ally of Vladimir Putin has claimed. That's pretty much saying the same thing. The use of alliance missiles in this way can now be qualified as an attack by the bloc's countries on Russia, Dmitry Medvedev posted on Telegram on Tuesday. In this case, the right arises to launch a retaliatory strike with weapons of mass destruction against Kiev and the main NATO facilities wherever they are, and this is already World War III. So all you're hearing in the news is World War III, nuclear weapons being used, mass destruction, because these are the times we are living in. And Russia has already done a retaliatory strike on Ukraine. This is another article on Newsweek.com. Russia fires intercontinental ballistic missile
10,000 lives Ukraine. Are counting on me.
Slovakia. But as it says, Russia fires first intercontinental ballistic missile at Ukraine. For the first time since the beginning of its full-scale invasion, Ukraine says Russia has launched an intercontinental ballistic missile targeting Ukraine, specifically the city of Dnipro, according to a statement from the Ukrainian Air Force on Thursday. This development marks a significant escalation in the conflict, with Dnipro, a key city in central Ukraine, now subjected to the use of long-range weaponry typically associated with strategic military objectives. The Ukrainian Air Force stated on Telegram that Russia launched a series of missile strikes on Ukraine, escalating its offensive with the launch of an ICBM from the Astrakhan region. But wait, there's more. My last article on nypost.com, Russia threatens to attack new U.S. base in Poland with advanced weapons. Russia has threatened to attack a new U.S. defense base in Poland with advanced weapons just hours after reportedly launching an intercontinental ballistic missile at Ukraine on Thursday. Moscow leveled the warning after saying the opening of the ballistic missile defense base, located in the town of Redezhkowo, near the Baltic coast, would lead to an increase in overall nuclear danger. Given the nature and level of threats posed by such Western military facilities, the missile defense base in Poland has long been added to the list of priority targets for potential destruction, which, if necessary, can be executed with a wide range of advanced weapons, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova said. And so, as we can see, nothing but doom and gloom in the news, and it's only going to get worse from here on out, as it says in Matthew chapter 24, verses 7 to 8. Wars and rumors of wars, kingdom rising against kingdom, and what? This is only the beginning of sorrows. But in this upcoming third world woe, the two main combatants are going to be the United States of America and Russia is going to be the main nation in leading these other nations and shooting nuclear missiles onto the United States of America. But this is Ezekiel chapter 38. I'm going to start at verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, which is the biblical name for Russia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And that's the Most High putting these Russian Edomites back into that Cold War, Soviet Union minded spirit. And I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Russia's military might mainly being brought down into the valley of Jehoshaphat for the battle in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the war of Armageddon in Joel chapter 3. Now it's going into some of Russia's allies, Persia, which is the ancient name for Iran, Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. And we know that all these nations have what? Joined with the BRICS. Gomer, which is speaking of Turkey, which is also, shown interest in the BRICS. And Turkey at some point is going to completely abandon NATO in the West to ally themselves fully with Russia and all his bands, the House of Togarmah of the North Quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. But now I'm going to jump down to verse 10, and I'm going to read down to verse 11. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, It shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest and that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither gates nor bars. And this land of unwalled villages, on the one hand, is talking about the land of Israel right now with those imposters over there, which, what did Russia just recently warn, Netanyahu about? Hey, stop going against Iran, because once that war kicks off, hey, Russia's coming in on the side of Iran. And on the other hand, it's talking about the United States of America. And, for the longest time, and, still in America, the people in these countries have dwelt carelessly and at rest because what? They thought that their military, capabilities would protect them. David's slingshot or the Iron Dome over in the land of Israel, and then all these missile defense systems and nuclear arsenals that the United States of America had. But as we can clearly see, with these new advanced weapons coming out, the Iron Dome can't stop Iran's missiles, and America's defenses won't be able to stop Russia's hypersonic missiles or their nuclear-tipped ICBMs. So these places truly have become lands with unwalled or unprotected villages. And like I said earlier, the main nation that's going to be leading this nuclear assault against the United States of America is going to be Russia. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great, the United States of America, an assembly of great nations from the north country, another name for Russia in the scriptures, because Russia is north of the United States of America. And Russia shooting its missiles from the north, over Canada and over the Arctic Ocean region, which also Russia has been building up its military capabilities, nuclear included in that Arctic Ocean region as well, would be the shortest trajectory time for those missiles to reach the U.S. And that assembly of great nations unto the north country are not just Russia's allies like, China, Iran, or North Korea, but America's own allies, which at some point during World War III are going to turn against her and ally themselves with Russia. Revelation 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns, speaking of the European Union, which thou sawest upon the beast, NATO, these shall hate the whore, the United States of America, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, nuclear fire. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And those arrows are talking about those nuclear missiles. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north, Russia, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth, from the ends of the earth, that assembly of great nations. Russia's allies and America's own allies, which are going to betray her, they shall hold the bow and the lance, also referring to those nuclear missiles and, those silos and other launch platforms that they're going to be fired from. Because what do bows shoot? Arrows. They are cruel and will not shew mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. Everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. And when you go to Psalms 137, verses 7 to 9, you will see that these Edomites, or so-called white people, are synonymous with the daughter of Babylon. But now I'm going to jump up to verse 41. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof. And another name for America in the scriptures is spiritual Sodom, as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8. It's very easy to see why America would be called spiritual Sodom. Just look at all the, alphabet lifestyle that are pushed around here. And as I'm doing this lesson, a Jake transformer walked by with a dress on, but with the Adam's apple as big as a golf ball. And ancient Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed with fire and brimstone from the sky. And this modern day Sodom and Gomorrah is going to be destroyed by that modern fire and brimstone, those nuclear missiles, saith Yahweh. So shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. And, we clearly see this isn't talking about ancient Babylon, which is in modern day Iraq, because people are still dwelling there as we speak. Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert and the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. And 200 million nuclear missiles are going to hit the United States of America and turn it into the biblical lake of fire, from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland where man, woman, or child will never set foot on ever again. And after a time, only harsh desert creatures are going to be able to dwell here. But, this nuclear destruction will not take place until after the MARKOFTHEBEAST, which is that C-hip implant in Revelation 13, verses 16 to 18, is mandatorily implemented. So again, brothers and myself, and I know the rest of you sincere Akim and Akwat out there are getting excited seeing all this talk of nuclear war and World War III. But, hey, we got to wait for that final prophecy to take place before the destruction and the salvation takes place. But I'm going to read Revelation 13, verses 16 to 17 real quick. And he causeth all, that he being the elite rulers of the Edomites, such as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a MARK in their right hand or in their foreheads. And remember what I said earlier, Elon Musk, who's in Trump's cabinet, is talking about what, what's he about? Neuralink, that MARK in the forehead. And then Dr. Oz, who was pushing the C-hip implant. Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the MARK, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So that hour of temptation is going to come, where this devil's going to come down in great wrath and force the majority of the people on this planet to receive, that charagma. And, brothers and sisters will be faced with being put to death for not taking that charagma. It's about to be a very dangerous time out here. But if that's your lot, hey, go out like a soldier of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, because you'll automatically be of that elect number. But for those that receive the charagma, the only thing you have to look forward to is the nuclear fire, that fuel and burning flames, during World War III. But now I'm going to close it out in Revelation 14, verses 9 to 10. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, which is speaking of those iron toes mixed with miry clay in Daniel chapter 2, which is the last leg of the fourth beast, those legs of iron, which was the ancient pagan Roman Empire. And this is, this NATO EU system that the U.S. is at a part of and at the head of, the reincarnated Roman Empire and his image, all the aspects of this beast system, political, financial, and military, a lot of which goes back to ancient Rome, and receive his MARK, that C-hip, in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone, those nuclear missiles, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, Yahushai, the Son of the Most High. So as we can see, the charagma comes first, and then what? The nuclear destruction. But that's it with this lesson. And with this lesson, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.